As the war entered its final bloody months in early 1945, the skies over the German heartland turned into an absolute meat grinder of unprecedented proportions, providing the stage for the Me-262 to unleash its full, terrifying destructive potential against the massive Allied bomber streams. Day after day, hundreds of American B-17 Flying Fortresses and B-24 Liberators darkened the horizon, flying in dense, heavily armed combat box formations that created a literal wall of defensive machine gun fire. For traditional piston engine fighters, attacking these flying fortresses was a suicidal endeavor, but for the pilots of the Me-262, their immense speed advantage allowed them to slice through the defensive formations like a hot knife through butter. Diving from high altitudes at speeds exceeding 800 kilometers per hour, the jet pilots operated in a completely different dimension of time, where the American gunners could barely track the silver streaks with their manually traversed turrets before the attack was already over. To fully exploit this technological asymmetry, the Me-262 was equipped with an exceptionally heavy offensive armament, designed specifically for structural devastation, centered around four 30mm Mk108 autocannons mounted directly in the nose. These short-barreled weapons fired devastating, high-explosive shells known as mine shells, which were constructed with drawn steel rather than cast iron, to maximize the explosive capacity of each round. A single direct hit from a 30mm mine shell could blast a gaping 3-foot hole in the aluminum skin of a heavy bomber, instantly severing control cables, shattering engine blocks, or tearing entire wings clean off the fuselage. The explosive force was so immense that just 3 or 4 well-placed hits were capable of blowing a massive 4-engine B-17 completely out of the sky, sending it spiraling down to Earth in a trail of burning wreckage.
However, because the heavy 30mm shells suffered from a relatively low muzzle velocity and a looping, dropsicle trajectory, jet pilots had to close the distance to their targets with nerve-wracking proximity, often firing from a mere 400 meters away before breaking away to avoid flying through the debris of the disintegrating bombers. To solve this tactical limitation, the Luftwaffe introduced a terrifying new innovation in early 1945, retrofitting the underwing panels of the Me-262 with wooden racks capable of holding 24 R-4M unguided rockets. These spin-stabilized rockets, packed with powerful hexagen explosives, were designed to be fired in a single massive salvo from a completely safe distance outside the range of the bomber's defensive guns, traveling along the exact same trajectory as the 30mm cannons. When a jet pilot unleashed an R-4M salvo into the center of an American combat box, the effect was akin to a shotgun blast tearing through a flock of birds, filling the sky with localized, catastrophic explosions that could annihilate multiple bombers simultaneously, creating an apocalyptic landscape of fire and falling metal that represented the violent peak of air combat in World War II.